Good morning, everybody. Here we are sitting on the first Saturday after the first game as the Lake Worth Bullfrogs defeated the Northside Steers 51-0. I'm here sitting this morning with Coach Welch getting ready. Not getting ready. We kicked it off. It's off.
It's on.
Football's been year-round, and we're through the first game. Lots to say about it. I know lots of people around the area, especially good fans, excited, great win, as it seems like we kind of rolled over that team. But at the same time, there was a lot of things to point out in that game. I know you guys are already on that. We're in day one of week 2 already. For those of y'all that don't know, football around here after Friday night, enjoyed the victory that night. 12 o'clock hits, we're in the next week.
That's right.
Let's go into it, Coach.
That's right. First of all, it was a good game, Joy. We played hard. The kids played hard. Like you said, football now is year-round with what the UIL has done and given us the June and July, being able to have strength and conditioning as well as an hour of sport-specific drills. That's very crucial for your kids to be up here and do that. And our kids did it. Our coaches did a great job of being up here and working with the kids in all sports. And I'm very proud of our sports. Our volleyball team right now is doing well, and cross-country team is doing well. Tennis team is really doing well. So we've had a great summer. But getting back to football, when you talk about football, you talk about there's 4 different parts of the season. You got your preseason, which is your scrimmages, and the key to our scrimmages was we played hard. We had 2 good opponents in Castleberry and McGregor. We played hard against them to come out healthy, and that's really a big key. Then you have your preseason. Your non-district schedule, and starting off last night with a good opponent in Northside, coming off 2 consecutive playoff years. A lot of momentum over there, Coach Turner has, and he's doing a great job at Northside. A lot of their stands were packed last night. Good crowds on both sides. A lot of excitement at Northside and what they're doing, and I've got a lot of respect for Coach Turner, and of course he played running back at TCU against some of our players we used to have in Coppers Cove. So I've known the man for a while, and he's doing a good job over there. But our kids were focused. They came into the game last night focused. Our coaches did a great job of getting them prepared, and I just thought we played hard. I thought we played hard on all 3 elements of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Special teams oftentimes is overlooked. That's the biggest key in the whole ball game. We started off last night, Polito. We kicked it ball deep, and kids hustled through there. We tackled them on the 14-yard line. And, to have your opening drive of the new year starting at the -14, that's kind of a kick in the old teeth. But kids got through there and played hard. So I'm very excited about our team right now. We just got to keep improving, getting better, and we're working.
Yeah, most definitely. But one of the biggest things to note about this team this year, because we lost, a lot of our senior players went on to further on go to college. They graduated last year and everything of that such. But this year, you see a lot of names that might have been number 2s last year, or they might be new to varsity altogether, getting a lot of playing time, and you're seeing the veterans, the varsity players, pick up those new guys, and they really are filled right in.
That's what you call a program. And I try to do the same thing with the coaching staff. You lose a coach at the junior high level. You lose a coach at the high school level. You want to have a guy at the junior high that's ready to step right in because they've been in your program. They understand your coaching techniques. They understand what you're trying to do with the kids. That teaching field's got to match up. Sometimes you have to go outside, but you want to bring that coach up to your staff to step right in. It's the same thing with your sub-varsity teams, your freshman and JV teams, and we've done a good job of that over the last 3 years. So, yes, we lost some great kids last night. You lost a young man that set 18 school records. He's one of the I saw the other day, he's in the alums, I guess you'd say, of the all-time passing in the state of Texas, and that's Caleb Welch, and Caleb did a good job, but those guys are gone, and we've got 3 kids right now currently on college rosters and doing a good job, and I'm excited for those kids. But next guys just stepped right in, and our numbers are good right now. We suited up 41 last night on varsity. We're kind of 2 platoon in our offensive and defensive lines, and that's big for us right now. We're getting extra playing time, extra reps in the practice time with our offensive and defensive linemen, keeping those kids fresh. And it just took some time to get there, but we're getting there, and it's a program. That's what a program comes from, and that's why it's oftentimes people think that first year you went 5-5, and they're all excited. And next year you went 5-5. Well, What do you do the third year? What do you do the fourth year? Last year we went 6-4 regular season, first winning season like that they had in several years. So we just got to continue getting better, get the program going, and it perpetuates itself over time.
Yes, most definitely. I can tell you one thing around here. You talk about building a program. Lake Worth has struggled to suit out more than about 32 kids a year for I can only remember when. There's a couple of bleeps in there in the radar where they got a couple more. But right now, the middle school program is doing something about 100 kids.
We're busting at the seams.
Man, my goodness.
And you say 100 kids, that's 100 kids with physicals. We've got like 135, 140 for the 7th grade and 8th grade signed up to play football. We've got to continue getting those physicals. Right now, our junior high with 6th, 7th, and 8th grades are over 900 kids. So
that's good news.
It's great news. Right now we've got right at 40 with our freshman team. We've got about 38 with our JV team, and we're at 41 with our varsity. So for us, that's good numbers, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I love to see it. Last night I think, we'll get back into the game, but last night I wanted to say, I know you and I briefly talked after the game, but the culture at Lake Worth, I'm going to go ahead and push it out there and say, is officially changed. The reason why I say that, last night you saw the stands full, and you saw it's not even just the stands full. It's what happens after the game as well. And after the game, the sidelines was full over by that the home concession stand all the way out to the parking lot. The crowds hung around. Everybody talked. Football is a buzz in Lake Worth right now.
Praise God for that. And, everything I put on social media, anytime you see something from Coach Welch, it's creating the culture. Attitude is everything, and I believe that. And it's not just on the team. It's not just at Lake Worth Athletics. It's a community. It's a community, and I'm very, very proud. Last night was our first responders night. I was very honored to have Fire Chief Arthur, Police Chief Bonashagan. I got his name right.
Got his name right.
And Mayor Bowen come out and be our honorary captains, as well as we had, probably 20, 25 other EMS and firemen and police people come out, along with their families. What a great way to honor our first responders and what they do for our community, our state, and our nation. I was very proud of that turnout last night. So I just thought it was a great night for football, great night for Texas football, and a lot of things happening, creating the culture here at Lake Worth High School.
Oh, yeah. It's even exciting for us on the radio. We got one of our very special students that's now going into kind of a developmental year. Patrick came out and did a interview with you last week. He came up in the box, got to see some of that. And we also have a graduate of 2018, Zach Bedford, that came up there. He's actually studying sports journalism. He gets to come home and watch and enjoy that. So got everybody kind of excited about a little bit of everything.
Creating culture, changing attitude.
Yes, sir. So we want to get into numbers. You want to get into them, or you want to pass the mic? We want to roll into it.
Both those guys do it. They did a great job, and let's let them get up here and talk. And let's start off with Tracy Reigns, our offensive coordinator.
All right, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes to go over preview this week.
Sounds good.
Tracy Reigns.
What's going on?
We could use some rain right about this second. Underneath this awning. It's not any cooler right here than it is in that sun.
Sitting in the shade. I was glad to see y'all sitting in the shade over here, but I tell you what, it's about the same temperature.
It changes here in about 3 weeks. That sun will be right here blaring me. Hey, so pointing out a couple things. I think it's going to be the hardest thing for any team when they look at Lake Worth, and I think everybody in the crowd saw it. Lake Worth does not have one target.
No, they don't.
Not one target. You had, was it 5 or 6 different people score touchdowns last night?
Yes.
You had the runs popping out from here and there, passes caught here and there. Let's get into it. Give us a rundown on the numbers a little bit.
That's what I told the kids at halftime when we came in there. I said, right now we've had 6 different people carry the ball, and we've had 7 different people catch the ball. And so they have not one person that they can just focus on and stop. But we got into it last night. We ended up running 4 different guys at tailback back there, and then our quarterback's running a little bit too. So all the yardage and all the carries and everything spread out. But we ended up carrying the ball a total of 37 times for 277 yards. Yardage-wise, our little fullback, Jose Mesa, a sophomore, had the most yardage. He carried it 8 times for 72 yards. And then, of course, Damian Moore, filled in there, and Xavier Madrano and Raul Alvarez, which is their big back. And so he runs some of our power stuff there. And they did a great job in the backfield. On the receiving side, it was just about the same thing, Joey. Mark Fulkerson led in catches, 4 receptions, and had 58 yards, but Demarion Pulte had 3, and all 3 of his were touchdowns. So he had 104 yards on those. So I think we need to throw it to him a couple more times, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
If he's going to score every time he
Seriously.
catches the ball. So Damian Moore had a couple catches out of the backfield and had some tight ends mixed in there and some outside receivers. And Nathaniel Sessions had 2 big catches for us for 15 yards. So it spread out all across the board. I thought Isaiah Hall did a great job stepping in at quarterback. You know, we've had Caleb in here for the last 3 years, and Isaiah had played sporadically. Of course, he's a free safety also. Ended up 13 of 15 for 195 yards, and these are rough stats. They hadn't been finalized yet, but it's pretty close for 4 touchdowns, and I thought that was a very good job for him to step in there and do that job. So,
yeah, most definitely. You know, watching the game last night from the press box, looking out, you know, he had a good guy in front of him for the last couple of years, had Caleb there, got a good chance to see a watch and understand that. And a lot of people don't realize, you know, they think the quarterback's always told exactly what to do, and really it's development, understanding that. And last night it was definitely a telltale sign that he came up behind another good quarterback, but he also has Coach Christian, great quarterback coach, that's getting him head on a swivel. You really saw him move around. The fact that he touched so many guys in the air with the ball lets you know that the defense is not going to be able to read him. He's not staring anybody down. It was a great look. Last night, I want you to jump into something for real quick. We're going to break them down a little bit by going with the backs. Going with Jose Choo Choo Meza. Everybody calls him Choo Choo. His mom says she doesn't mind, so we're good. We'll call him Choo Choo. But Choo Choo Meza, a little bit about him. He's a sophomore playing the fullback position. And come out there, I mean, what was the expectation out of that guy coming out this year?
Yeah, he did a great job for us. You know, he's a little bit nervous during practice this week because the last game he played was a freshman football game. And so coming in there, I think once everything got going and he got settled down, and he did a great job at that fullback position for what we asked for him, running the ISO, running the power G off the edge, keeping the fullback dive, running the little fullback trap up in there. And didn't have any turnovers last night, protected the football. You could tell when he came through the line, he had both hands on the football, and real pleased with him, real pleased. Look forward to having him for 2 more years after this one. So.
Oh yeah, you know, pre-game a day or two before, you know, I was sitting with him and Pulte and with Session and talking with those guys, and he asked them, he goes, "Hey guys," he goes, "do you guys just getting nervous before the game?" And I tell him, I was like, I played a whole lot before every game. If you're not anxious or nervous, then there's something wrong. And I said, wait, after that first snap, you'll be good to go. Another one I want to jump into is Raul Alvarez. Man, what a big back. What a big back that charges forward. I told him last night, one of the best moves I see out of a guy new in a position is when you have to get the 1 yard, you don't try to do too much, and you go ahead and get that yard.
And that's one thing we're working with Raul. First scrimmage, he tried to juke some people. Well, he's a 215, 220-pound back, and so there's no sense in juking people. You run over them. You go get what you need to get. And we picked him up off of our scout team. He was running scout team against us and did a great job and said, hey, let's bring him over here, give him some looks, you know, and put him in the rotation and done a great job for us so far. So
yeah, I think he was excited. He ended up last night with one or two, some extra points and a touchdown there. Yep. And then you had Medrano. I have to mention Medrano for 2 reasons. One, because he did an outstanding job, but 2, you know, when you're a second or a third, sometimes you know, you get a couple parents in the stands. He had a whole little squad up there right below. We could hear him screaming every time he got the ball. And it was surprising for us just to see the explosiveness and the quickness that he has. Can you go on that a little bit?
Very good. He was our JV back last year and did a great job. So coming in, we knew we had Damian coming back and Medrano coming up. Raul didn't play any B-back before. But so we knew they were going to be a good pair, a good combination in there. And I didn't know how the carries were going to split out. But last night, some of them were playing a little bit of defense, and we were able to get him in there more. And he even had a couple of catches out of the backfield on some screenplays. So he did an excellent job filling in there for us. Lots of power and speed. With Damian, you get a lot of speed. With Raul, you get a lot of power. Medrano's a little bit of both of them because he can run those ISOs inside, and he can run the zone stuff outside too. So.
Yeah, man, we always love seeing that. I mean, it's always good to kind of just see something else going on because, after all, you know, we've talked about this many times before with Welch, and that is when you have to run a bunch of way younger guys, lots of times that can play for you. But right now, we're pretty say seasoned heavy with juniors and seniors with just a couple of few sophomores that are in there. So you guys got some years coming. You got a next couple of years with a couple of these guys. Let's talk a little bit now about receiver corps. Let's talk about the receiver corps. Last year, first game of the season, Demarion Pulte had a breakout game the first season last year, too. I think it was 135 yards, few touchdowns, much like this. But we know Mark Fulkerson was a big focal point last year. Just happened to be he was kind of the go-to guy. I think he got an all-district position as well. But let's go through that receiver corps and the depth there.
Good thing is about the receivers is most of them are returning starters from last year. You had Mark starting for you last year. Demarion started for you last year. Sessions started most of the season for us last year. Dom started at tight end a good bit last year. Of course, Craig comes over from the defense. He's mainly defense, but he mixes in well there and catches the ball well. That's a great receiving group. Mark, I think, set a school record last year, in receptions. And anytime you can spread the ball out and not allow them to double team your best receiver and take them out of your complete passing game, that's a bonus. Because, number one, what are they going to key on right now? We can run the ball. I haven't mentioned our offensive line yet, but we returned in 5 sophomore. They were all sophomore starters last year, and now they're juniors. So we've got them for a whole nother year, too, and they're just getting better and better each week. And there's some big boys inside there. So they're doing a great job with the protection for the pass and also on the run play. So.
Most definitely. And we can go into that now. Like, that's a big thing, to be pointed out. That offensive line last night really kind of just manhandled their way and made I mean, they were making definitely the first 3 or 4 yards available for any run out of the backfield.
You could see on some of those goal line plays, and when Raul was carrying the ball, he's just running right off the edge there, and there's nobody even close to him.
Almost looked like he walked in.
It's like a green wall just washing everything down right there. So that's great to see because we've got all those guys back for another year too, and their development they've came a long way in the last 2 years, and that's an exciting group to see because when you get that offensive line, you can pretty much mix it up however you want to. So, yeah,
most definitely. And then last thing to go over, I want to bring this up because he's a young guy and he's coming up too. We got you have one of the brothers, the Reese brothers, backing up at quarterback. Came in. I thought he did a phenomenal job as a backup. Didn't try to do too much. Done what was asked of him, but it looked like he filled in the position really well.
He did. And he's a junior, so we're going to have him coming back next year. So I think it's very important to get him some reps in there this year. Last night I think we ran the ball a lot with him. Didn't throw him a whole lot of passes, but he can throw well too. I just wanted to get him settled into varsity first at quarterback. Did a great job of running the offense out there. You could tell how he worked the clock. One time we broke the huddle just a little bit early, and the lineman had to sit down in the stance, I think, for 40 seconds. It really wasn't his fault. It was the 40-second clock operator's fault. So they started it a little bit late, and we got some extra time there. But I thought he did a great job of running the offense when he was out there. So we're looking forward to great things out of him also.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to great things out of this offense all season.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. We'll pass it over.
It's a great start. We just got to continue.
That's right. That's right.
Joey.
Thank you, Coach. Next up, got good old Vance McAnally.
Yes, sir.
How about that goose egg last night, them donuts?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, I tell you what, last night, looking at the defense from a fan's perspective, from the press box perspective, that defense looked like it was all over the place, in the right places when I say that, moving, making their calls. Looks like there was a good amount of good bit of communication on the field, which, it's in defense is always a thing. You're always stressing. Communicate, talk. I know you do that in practice, but this year something seems a little different about the defense. Let's go on that a little bit.
Well, I can tell you, first of all, very experienced group. The back end, you look at Isaiah and Junior and Craig and Demarion. I mean, they played together. I don't know how many years they've played together, but on varsity they've been together for 3 years. So, I mean, it's just second nature now. So very senior laden there. Like you said, from a fan's perspective, it looked great. From a coach's perspective, there's still a lot of things that we need to tidy up. But we ran to the ball pretty well. It could be better. We gave up a couple of plays that I'm not happy about just because we were right there and just fitting, and a little bit of it too is I don't know, to the naked eye, it looked like, it kind of looked like, we were dominating, but they were tackling our defensive ends, and so that that leaves some gaps when you can get by with that kind of stuff, and they just weren't gonna. It was just one of those crews. They're just not gonna call anything inside, and you just, I teach the kids you just have to play through it, and sometimes somebody's got to. They may have to play 2 gaps back there at linebacker because we're gonna be a gap short because we've got a 380-pound guy tackling our defensive end, and so there's nothing we can do about it. But overall, absolutely, we communicated well. We ran the football well, made some big plays. Definitely had a good time.
Yeah, we're going to back it up to that first defensive possession or first defensive stand. It looked like there we had them held down, and then there was that little screen that happened and squirted out. Yeah. And I told, junior session comes in with a nice tomahawk come through there to knock the ball loose. Peanut punch. That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't quite a peanut punch. It was a tomahawk.
Yeah, when he saw that, I think when you watch it back on film, it almost looked like he was dissecting how the player was carrying the ball and made a right move. And we mentioned on the radio that it's a good look right now to see where there was a gap at, but it's a good thing the defense can chase him down and still cause a turnover out of it.
As long and we had an old fat defensive coordinator in Coppers Cove, and he always made a good point. If you can get back in the huddle, you still got a chance. And that was one of those things. That's the only really big play we gave up all night, and it was 37 yards or something. But we got back in the huddle and stopped them, made them punt. So everything worked out. And great effort on Junior's part, but and it was one of those things. You can practice it. You can practice it. And the very first time you see it at their speed, somebody that things are just a step different. And our linebacker just didn't quite trust it. But boy, they tried it 3 or 4 more times, and they got tackled for loss. So they went away from that real fast.
We saw that a lot we saw that early on in the 7-on-7 season in the summertime. It took that first game that Lake Worth played against Saginaw. That first game was their only loss in their 7-on-7 season, and it was that adjustment. They saw it one time, and everybody tries to do that same thing against them. So the boys do a really good job. I want to jump right in the heart of the defense, right at the middle linebacker position for a second. Donnie Reese. Well, I saw him for the first time really in 7-on-7, kind of see him. Kids didn't talk a whole lot. Yeah. It's kind of quiet. But, man, he was out there laying the wood last night and moving and filling holes. Talk about him a little bit.
Well, Donnie's a silent assassin. Love that kind of kid. Doesn't say much. Now, he will. Some people say he doesn't talk. He talks to me all the time. But he doesn't talk to you if he doesn't know you. And if he's not one of those – he's not like Demarion or Junior who'll talk. They'll talk to the wall, and they'll just talk. You look over there, and they're just talking. He doesn't waste any speech, so he doesn't say anything unless he needs to. But he speaks with his pads and his legs. He's a gifted athlete, so runs well, tackles well, and he is. You don't always know what you got. When you have a real quiet kid like that, but we got a good one right there.
Oh, yeah, and then we also –
And Raul, let me tell you about Raul. Now, the other inside linebacker there. Now, Raul hadn't played inside linebacker before and was this was his first full game at linebacker. He's been nose guard defensive end. He's really played well. Another guy who'll talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. but he's definitely – and he's taken on a leadership role, and really proud of Raul there.
That's awesome. There's a name that's in there that I hadn't seen before that I know is a bump up, I believe, and that's Stevens.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so Ketravia Stevens, and he's junior with this whole junior class with He's an inside linebacker. Has really come on, and proud of him. He's a kid who I think is going to be a really good player for us one day.
Yeah, and I got to give a big shout out to the entire defensive line. The defensive line last night just looked like everybody was moving on step at the same time, at the same speed. And you know as well as I do on defensive line, if you have even a half step slow on one side or the other, that's what creates the gap the offense looks for. And it looks like the defensive line was all moving in sync, in step almost the entire night.
Yeah, well, and I think Coach Reigns or Coach Welch, one of them had mentioned it earlier, how we're getting to work our line together a lot more. I think that's going to definitely help. I think we'll continue to see improvement there.
That's awesome, Coach. We look forward. We didn't see any interceptions last night because our defensive line didn't really give them time to really throw the ball.
No.
They threw the ball, I think, less than 10 times maybe, or right about there. And so we didn't see any interceptions, but we also didn't see a whole lot of passing last night, thanks to the defensive line. And not only that back in season DB core you got back there, there was nobody to throw to.
No, they knew that they didn't have very long, and everything was quick passing that they did try. And after the first time when they did get a good play, it was shut down. So, yeah, they stuck the ball in their pocket and just tried to run the clock. So,
yeah,
because if not, the way the offense was rolling, we could have scored 75 on them.
There was no stopping the bleeding last night. It was just trying to slow it down a little bit.
Yep. So,
well, Coach, we appreciate you.
All right.
Good luck this
Thanks,
week.
Joey.
Thank you.
All right, Joey, good recap there from both coordinators.
Yeah, very good recap with those guys. Now, here we are, Saturday. Now we're done with the recap. You guys are getting ready to go in and watch film, getting ready to come out here, do some stretching out. We know last year Sanger had Melbourne, that big old running back that was just toting that rock like it was nobody's business. We know that. We also know scouting them this year, they look a little bit different than what they did last year. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are looking at for this week, and just how are you going to attack? I know you guys are going to kind of attack the same way you normally do everything else, but give me a little bit on this week's preparation.
Well, Coach Smart has done a good job at Sanger. They have a successful year last year. They had that big back that was recruited hard. He ended up going to Butler County Junior College up in Kansas. He didn't quite like the offers he got, and he had some good offers. Don't get me wrong, but he chose Butler to go up there and hopefully get recruited to the next step for him, he thought. And I'm glad the young man's gone. He was a good football player and a powerhouse. But anytime you play against a team that has their head coach's son is the quarterback, there's something about that. And Coach Smart's son is the quarterback. He had a tremendous summer this summer. Did a good job at the camps. I kind of followed the different camps, and the young man did a good job at those camps. He's highly thought of, highly ranked. Come out last night, and I haven't watched the film yet against Benbrook, but they blew out. They got after Benbrook pretty good. So I'm sure that the smart quarterback did a good job last night. They're going to play hard. Coach Smart and his staff do a good job of getting their kids motivated. They went in there and took over a program that was kind of down, and they've got a lot of success right now going forward. So we know they're going to play hard. They're going to get after us. They did scrimmage Castleberry. I talked to this Castleberry coach the other day, and he said, told me some things to watch out for, obviously, but he said, Coach, they play hard. They get after it and play hard and play aggressive, and you got to have your kids ready.
Yeah, that's one thing, playing hard and being ready with those guys there. I know that this year they have quite a few returners, I believe, on that offensive line. So our defense did a great job this week, this past Friday, but this next week is going to be a new challenge for everybody.
And when you play a game like we did the other night, 48 minutes, and they played 48 minutes, you're going to have some kids with bumps and bruises going into the next week. Like I said a while ago, you came out of your scrimmages. We came out very, very healthy. Then you came out of a hard-fought game last night. We played hard. The good thing about last night, Joey, all of our kids played. All 41 of them that were dressed out got to play, and that's good stuff. I'm very happy about that. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have a young man's kind of pouting or down because they didn't get to play. Well, they've got to understand their role on the team. But I'm excited about that. going into this game, we've got to play hard. We've got to get focused. Because you may have a young man who bumps and bruises from this last week, may not get to practice on Monday or Tuesday, might not get all the reps that he's normally going to get. So his number 2 has to get reps and make sure he's ready to go. Anytime you're a number 2, you're only 1 play away from being number 1. Anytime you're a number 3, you're only 2 plays away from being number 1. And you've got to understand that, especially at the high school level. Most
definitely. So this week we have at home here. Do we know who those honorary captains are this week yet?
I haven't finalized it yet. I'm working on that.
We look forward to it. We love doing that every week. We honor somebody as some honorary captains around here, around Lake Worth, because we love it. Coach, you got any closing words?
Well, I'm just excited about Lake Worth and the program we have going. I appreciate our administration. I appreciate you for helping, and I'm very excited about our kids, and let's keep it going.
Most definitely. Before we get off here, I want to give a big shout-out to Eagles Nest just up the road here from Lake Worth High School. Hey, it's Saturday. You know it's college football. Tomorrow's Sunday. It's NFL football. They have the NFL ticket up there. Go up there, get some wings, bring the family, enjoy. They have a 185-inch screen TV wall, and they got about 100-some-odd TVs in there. Go up there, check it out, have a good time. And when the fall hits, that patio is a place to be to watch a game.
Let me tell you this. They have a great breakfast. They started serving breakfast here several months, maybe a year ago. I don't know, but my wife and family go up there and we eat breakfast before church, and some whenever Caleb is playing his football games at Sagoo, we'll go to Eagles Nest on Saturdays, eat our breakfast, and head to Sagoo. So great breakfast up there also.
Hey, great breakfast. Wings and breakfast. You can't go wrong with that. But, hey, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in last night and watching that wonderful victory. Thank you for tuning in this morning for the Coaches Show. Hey, this Friday night, 7:30 against Sanger right here at Lake Worth once again. Hey, I don't mind if you don't see the stream. You can come back and watch the stream. But come here, fill this house again once again this Friday night. And until then, we'll see you guys. Y'all be